Yeah, I think so.
Hello. I can't hear.
So I hope you agree. The ocean agrees me. It was a short agenda. I am short. Right. Hi, Sundin.
Hello.
Right. I've joined the progressive games. I've joined the progressive game for my classes. At first, I was reading classes. Oh, yes. You're made for these progressive games. Is that because you have to do something? Well, no. I'm like, are you sure? Because when I work all the time. When I renewed my license, when I was taking the eye test, they said, "Oh, you're gonna need glasses." It's like I can read signs hundreds and hundreds of feet away. I don't like it's small weather, it's nearby. But like that size print, regular size, even like the headers, I can read. Yeah, well, I can know generally. Yeah, I can't. But now when you get into this, that's no, I can't read this at all. But the point is, I went and got couldn't see a thing, but I had my appointment ready to prove that I got glasses. So I went back, did the glasses, but I was on my reading. Since we the ones I said I couldn't use, they used them, but they didn't know which one to switch. And I could, with those on, I could read. Okay, what am I supposed to do with these other glasses that I can't see them? They said everyone is comfortable, but I found myself using my reading glasses, and so they were like, well, we'll just give you progressive. So if you're having trouble seeing some things far away, well, I'm only 2 weeks in, so I'm being stubborn. Yeah, well, I'm a year in, so I mean, I wear these all. Okay, so do you know I don't. Maybe have this 100. Maybe.
It's difficult to hear. It's kind of jumbled or.
Fan.
A, it's a fan, and B, I'm like, but we'll turn off the fan. Is that better?
Much better.
Yeah, that'll work until we start dying of the heat. And then we'll negotiate. But this might be a very short meeting. So are we checking out at Michael's? Yes.
I can text. You got
Either one. Just let me see. I'm not. Hang on. All right. You do.
yeah.
Could you just I think he's coming a little split to me. No, we won't. I see him.
You see him? Oh, right. Okay.
Seems to be somebody. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that one went down.
I'll that's it. Okay.
Okay. Hi. I know, look, we're all here. It's all here. It's all here.
Welcome to the Dunkin' place.
Yeah.
Nice little.
What's the, is that?
Reorganization.
Carpets? Carpet retract? Well, pink carpet, so. We're ready to go.
All right, let's call it to order.
You.
All right, let's welcome. This is the UNNC Executive Committee meeting. So why don't we do the roll call? Victor,
Here.
Candace,
Here.
Laura,
Here.
and Michael. I am here. So Laura's going to put the agenda up on screen.
This is really short.
General public comments, and we'll speak about the incident of last meeting. Let's do about it. UNNC board vacancies, Battling the Stars. The executive committee business. Discuss agenda items for the next, the governing board meeting, and then for business, we're finally adjourned. So why don't we kick off with the general public comments? Anyone has any comments on non-agenda items?
I do. I have a comment, but let me
Excellent.
read it. Hello. Good evening, Executive Committee. I am speaking tonight regarding stakeholder retention and council conduct. Neighborhood Council exists to provide a constructive avenue for stakeholders seeking to improve their community. When stakeholders show up to UNNC, while often dealing with severe street-level issues like crime and safety, environmental stress, social conflict or loss, and channel their initiative into finding real constructive solutions, they are seeking a collaborative partner in local government to listen, inform, unify, and serve. This is the policy of this council. Instead, on multiple occasions during my allotted time to speak, I have been interrupted and told that the issues on my street are not a priority, or they belong to someone else's domain of expertise. When an official uses their title to tell a dedicated resident, "You are not we," or "Why are you stepping in my lane?" it inflicts real harm. It signals that stakeholders are outsiders and that community help is unwelcome. Anyone holding an official leadership title carries a code of civility under our bylaws to conduct business in a professional and respectful manner, not to enforce personal territory or to obstruct residents who step up to address problems of their neighborhood. If UNNC wants to prevent friction and restore community trust, leadership must hold title holders accountable to our code of conduct and ensure this council remains an open, welcoming space for stakeholders. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Understand, I typically do not respond to things here, so one, I'm sorry if this is from a personal experience. Apologies for wherever you might feel. I think we could probably hit some of these things as we discussed items.
Number 2. I see.
Yeah, two is the general public, but within
Three.
three and 4.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Kind of question.
Well, you can't.
Oh, my bad, sorry.
Sorry.
We'll talk about it, partner.
We'll talk about it under either 3 or 4.
Okay.
Excellent. So yes.
General comment.
Please.
Completely different general public comment. This is Laura speaking. If you were not aware, Washington Boulevard will be closed starting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. at 10th Avenue to Crenshaw, and will reopen on Monday morning. And that is because the LAPD Police Museum is holding a carnival, fundraising carnival in that stretch. The carnival itself, 10th Avenue to Crenshaw. So.
Picture in my mind.
It would be by the shopping center, and the church, Catholic church, and the bakery and Oaxacan restaurant and Truffle Brothers. And the library, that area, in Arlington Heights. The actual carnival is on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We, UNNC, I believe, get to have a booth on Saturday for 2 or 3 hours. If it really happens, Caesar's gonna come out with the master reading. When I will go too. But it's not clear, because we didn't want to have 2 full days. Okay, that's my comment.
Excellent. Any other public comments before we move on to next item? All right, agenda item 3, the procedures for dealing with meeting disruptions and the disruptors.
So this is Laura speaking again. So for anybody watching on YouTube who was, or anyone else who was not present at our governing board meeting, we had someone who unmuted himself a couple dozen times, and started becoming a little threatening as well. We had given him a number of warnings, and then we placed him into the waiting room for 10 minutes, and brought him back, and the behavior continued, and somewhat escalated when we were talking about the neighborhood council election. So we were not effective. We didn't know what we should be doing at dealing with the disruption. I have not received a call back from our Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, NEA, our rep, because I'm not really sure what's legal. And so, in other words, I do not think we can send this gentleman a formal letter and ban him from our meetings, because we can't. These are public meetings. I don't know, but what I hope we can do, and I know we have to check with the city attorney, and I want Dunn to do it with me. I don't want to be getting conflicting advice from the city attorney and then neighborhood empowerment. I'm hoping what we can do is some sort of meeting by meeting progressive discipline. So in other words, in this case, provide a letter, happen to know the person's address, so a written formal letter. This again, what I would like to do. That explains that you're welcome to come up to our meeting, volunteer for committees. But this is what will happen if this circumstance happens again. If you speak out of turn, if you don't raise your hand, if you haven't been called on, you will get 1 warning. If you do it a second time, we will put you in the waiting room. And if you do it a 3rd time after coming out of the waiting room, we will remove you from that meeting. I don't know if that's going to be legal. I do know banning him is not. Some minutes. So I don't know if you.
I was
Okay.
curious because it seemed like Soki knew him. Have you guys talked to him about is because it seems like Soki knew or is neighbors with him, and maybe like he experienced something that I experienced, and that kind of riled him up, and maybe it was just like a blow off or something. I don't know. It seems like now that I've experienced something like that, it was like I kind of understood. At first, I saw that and I thought, wow, this is unhinged. But when people are having all that stress of the neighbors, and he was just talking about years of just not being heard. I
Yeah,
just
I don't, the problem is, I guess I'll add some more to it. What he was saying about being not allowed to participate was not true. No one ever told him that he couldn't run for UNNC. No one ever told him he couldn't participate in a committee. No one ever told him anything like that. Moreover, we had a prior experience with him in writing where he wrote us a very not nice letter saying that UNNC had done absolutely nothing about the situation with all the issues going on his block. But he didn't even realize that he was hitting reply all. So it was a whole bunch of people who received his letter, and his reply all was to the letter we had sent to the city, to the
head of code enforcement for building and safety to council district. And we had included him in, he was copied on that letter, and that's the one he was going to reply all to. So he's had issues dealing with us, but again, it's not so much about the individual situation as how do we handle, what legally are we able to do with disruptions. City council has the same issue. There's a group of people, if you've gone to any council or commission meeting in the last 5 years, there's a 5 or 6 people who go to most of the meetings, and in general public comment, they will sign up for general public comment, and that's at the beginning of most of the meetings, and they'll use very foul language. They'll be accusing, with the commissioners or the county, wherever they are, of vile things, and as long as they mention an agenda item at least once in their general public comment, they're allowed to continue to talk. The council recently adopted something about the foul language, or maybe not general foul language, but specific terms like the N-word that would allow them to remove someone from the meeting. But they're in person. I hope we never have to have that situation. But it just made our meeting untenable. I already had to, and we're lucky, we're okay, had to deal with the city clerk, because although we had worked our way through the elections, the neighborhood council elections worksheet, because there was one, then another, then another, then another item we had to make a decision on, and we were working through consensus. So we managed to do that. And at one point we did a show of hands to agree that we were going to translate everything, right? But at the end, when it was really where we had to finish this item, because it seemed that this item in particular was triggering him. We never actually voted to approve the document as we had discussed, right? Yeah, exactly. We never actually voted. But so I had written the elections clerk, who luckily is a very nice guy, and said, here's our situation, this is what happened. I'm happy to share the transcript and minutes with you. But we just never actually voted on the document itself. And the next time we can do it is September 3rd, but the deadline is August 31st. So I could fill out the worksheet, but I cannot provide you a BAC, which is the board action certificate, until after September 3rd. And he wrote back and said, it sounds like A, it was a terrible situation. And then B, it sounds like you guys worked it all out. You don't need to give me a BAC. So that was nice. You do not hear that from the city very often. But we need to figure that out. Now, Sun Min's situation was on a meeting where one of our committee chairs did accuse Sun Min of stepping into the wrong lane. And it wasn't a very nice situation at all. So I don't know that that's exactly the same thing as disrupting a meeting. But
It seems like two sides of the same coin, right? Like the board member was the one disrupting the meeting by not letting somebody else.
it wasn't a board member, but yes.
Oh.
So I have a question for Sunmin. I would be curious. So if we, as we're talking about procedures for meetings and like what to do to deal with meeting disruptions or things of that sort, like what types of things do you think we could implement to make constituents feel heard? So if there is a thing where people are being triggered because they feel like
You said heard,
not like heard, like
not hurt.
no, heard.
Heard.
Okay, no.
Sound like
Heard, like their voice is heard. They're being heard. So as we're developing these procedures, if maybe we could get in front of it, like education, they teach you when you have your classroom rules and you conduct in your standards, right? If you enforce that, you cut off about 80% of your big issues that you might encounter with people. So if we are acting in a way that makes the constituent feel unheard, what are some things that you think we could implement to make you feel more heard?
Well, I mean, I think that there's a sensitivity that I wanted to bring to light of the situation of stakeholders when they come here, because, you guys are a government body, but you're also a volunteer government body, and you're like the first layer of that inroad into the government. And there's a lot of authority that you carry. But at the same time, I want to make sure that you're reminded of where we're coming from. And when I went through those bylaws, because I've been getting, little bits of hints along the way. I submitted a proposal and it was not recognized by the committee that I thought should have recognized it. Instead, I was given a chilling feeling that I had stepped in somebody's, you know, and there was some sort of power struggle, and that was expressed to me that that this is a hill that people have died on, or like terms like that, like don't go there. We want to prevent this. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying not to, but this is like a very serious situation for my neighborhood, impacts my life, and this is the forum that I need to be able to express it and try to get some help in. And so I thought I was kind of navigating it, by telling you who I was, by attending all the meetings. I've been attending pretty much every meeting for the last 6 months. So you guys get to know me. You don't think, oh, she's, just out of the street, or she's got mental issues, but we all do. We come from a very stressful place. That's why we come here. We need help. And then when long established patterns of gatekeeping or procedures, or the complexity of the city and getting anything done is retained by you, but you guys know, oh, we've done that before. This is just gonna, this is gonna be a difficult, ask, or you're navigating that as well. You're creating you're trying to sieve out what can be done, what has been done, like, and cushioning the blow between the complaints and the frustrations of the stakeholders with the way government actually works, so that you can channel that in a very constructive way. So,
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
so I don't really know, other than to make sure that all members of the UNNC council remind themselves of why they're there and read the bylaws, because I read the bylaws and the code of conduct, and to be sensitive to the fact that we are struggling with trying to get things solved on our neighborhood, and we don't know what those boundaries are. We don't know what those lanes are. I don't know, because they're all interrelated. You know, pollution and homelessness, and or parking situation, or the heat, or poverty, or gang violence. All these things are related, and we're trying to find those things that we can do to make ourselves feel like we have some control over our neighborhood. We have some kind of agency. We have some sort of community. And that's why we come here. Like, I started off at Jefferson Park Watch because, like, I had a burglary, and I had three masked men come into my home, and I felt very vulnerable. And I had a homeless situation out front where there were, drug addicts and, old men, like, sleeping in cardboard boxes. And I recognized some of the people out there, and they were the children. When I moved here, they were the children. And I'm like, realizing that this is all related. They're now grown men. They have nowhere else to go. So I had to go out there and get to know who they were and get to know their story. And then they also, got to know me, and they felt less threatened by me. I was no longer that lady looking out the window, spying on them, calling the police. I was someone who cared about them, and vice versa. And it became like a whole village. Ally was involved, the LAPD was involved, all the community. And so I've been growing in terms of like how to deal with some of these big issues that are affecting my neighborhood. Like today, I was out there. I'm living next to a vacant lot that is in probate, that is under a lot of, um, you know, uh, legal logistic, battles between people. We had two SWAT events. I was evacuated from my home at 4 o'clock in the morning with men and with the, it's a big deal. It happened twice. I was guy who was living next door who had a arrest warrant for assault with a deadly weapon. But he told me, because I'm there with, he's my neighbor. He's like telling me he's got 15 years of prison programming, that he's going to be doing things that might freak people out, that, that he's still struggling with his mental illness. So, like, there are all these issues that I'm trying to deal with and looking for professional help. And when I find one thing that I think, oh, well, maybe, like trying to plant pretty trees or plant or like clean up this neighborhood or do something like that is going to make a difference and be a neutral ground for people to kind of come together and work towards something greater than just fighting amongst themselves, then, it's a very delicate situation. And yeah, I know it sounds like I'm kind of like there's so much that I'm kind of like spewing out right here. That's why I had to write out my response because I also realized that you guys have a long tradition and you guys have a lot of experience. So maybe when the gatekeeping comes to me in terms of like, well, we're going to kind of direct you in this one direction, or like there's an order of things that I want to listen to that. But I just felt that something snapped and it was just not professional. And I just felt like I was going to let it slide, but I was like, wait a minute, I've been told that this might be a pattern and I've got to say something. Got to say something because otherwise the other reaction I have is I'm just going to not do anything and I'm going to just, like stew about it. So it doesn't help. Uh, I'm still having to deal with a lot of these issues in my neighborhood. And the only way that I felt has been productive is to go out and talk to people and to say, okay, what's your perspective? Why are you here? What are you doing? And I get a lot of good information. I get a lot of people who tell me that they've been here for years and that they're being pushed out because of, development and, and how their church is helping them or how their religion is helping them or how their community is helping them. And so I don't know, it's a long-winded, thank you for letting me go on and on.
Fine.
Thank you for bringing your concerns to us. So I think we sort of have two problems. I have thoughts on both of them, so I think I'll hit yours first. With the question, do we have a formal like grievance system or anything?
I don't know that this is Laura speaking, I don't know that would.
This doesn't rise to the occasion, or?
I think grievance.
I mean, it'd
no,
be nice if there's some way of filing a formal grievance and having a censure process.
A couple of pages on it in our bylaws. They're not our section that we ever wrote.
Right.
This is one of these citywide added several pages to everybody's bylaws. I don't know how they are, if they're ever even used, because they're not organic to our bylaws. So the answer is yes, but I don't know if it would address this problem. And then you had a second question, and then I have.
So the second question was sort of follow up with there's been a censure process where we could, vote some sort of writing, whatever for that,
Maybe
following up on the grievance.
we'd have to really look closely at our bylaws.
Right, so I think to your thing then, why don't we look at the laws and then maybe get back to you next time with something for the disruption, certainly for the online meeting. Maybe we just enforce where everyone's muted automatically on Zoom.
Are we able physically to do that in our meeting?
We can do that as administrators, and then you have to formally raise your hand and then, speak that way.
But I would make the meetings longer. Are we able to physically mute everyone who's on Zoom and
Yes.
then individually unmute them?
Yes.
But I couldn't do that while I'm running.
I could then
Yeah.
log in and run that part.
Yeah, this is one.
Okay,
And
so
I have something to say.
I have thoughts. So thank you so much for sharing your perspective. I definitely was listening. So what I hear you saying is the neighborhood council is like the first line of entry into solving a lot of these problems in the neighborhood. And so we act as the connector. So would it feel like it was more productive, or you would feel like we were getting closer to solutions if there were clear procedures of what to do for each thing. So for example, there are some things that we can do and just some things that we can't. But for example, like when you experience the break-in, maybe we can have a procedure of like your neighborhood council can connect you with our police officer, or connect in the division that's in our neighborhood, and then maybe fast track some of the things. Or when you were experiencing the issue with the homeless individuals in front of the home, maybe you could reach out to the neighborhood council and we have a procedure to say, well, we have a homeless committee, we can connect them to LASA when they get back over. Well, you know what I'm saying? So do you feel like it would be more helpful if we had like, not necessarily in the bylaws, but like a quick and dirty, if you have a vacant lot, do this. If you're experiencing issues with homelessness, do this. If you've experienced a crime severe, call 911. But then after that, here's how we can find it. Do you think something like that would be helpful? So then that way we are helping to facilitate the process, and you don't feel like we're just saying like, no, that's fine. That's not us. Go deal with that. So
Well, before you make her answer,
Yeah.
may I jump in?
Sure.
Because I'm part of the problem that she's addressing,
Okay.
I haven't had big bickering public fights with Sun, but you know, I sit and I'm going to most of the committee meetings, and I am trying very hard to be sure I'm parsing out so that, oh, this one goes to Caesar's committee, or this one goes to Grace, and you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So because we do have really active committees that have projects, so visibly someone might be thinking that I'm like shutting her down, but that wasn't the incident. We had an incident,
Okay.
and I was not involved with the incident, but I witnessed the incident.
Oh.
So part of the issue is that many of the committees have ongoing projects. So Sunmin is new, and there's other new people. I mean, we need to learn how to accommodate new people with new ideas that may overlap something that somebody is already edging on, working on, not necessarily working on. So that's a problem.
Yeah.
We also have a situation where we have projects that we've prioritized. First we do this, then we do that, then we do that. And so I think a little bit, and this is where I'm gonna say I'm guilty. Sunmin really wants to do some tree planting on Jefferson. And I keep saying, well, we planted 25 trees on Jefferson. And the tree committee that Teresa chairs is working on Washington Boulevard. So that's a fair thing to say. What happened is it got heated. Not with me, got a little heated, as a certain someone you know can be.
That makes
So, who's not named Laura.
Yeah.
So that's part of the problem, but
Laura, let her chime in.
It wasn't so much, I think what would have been is helpful is if that plan is provided when a stakeholder comes and they're all eager and they have no idea what the history is, no idea what the priority is, and they submit a proposal thinking, oh, I'm going to be helpful, and I'm going to say, I went out, I talked to all my community members, I found out something that could bring us together, what do you guys think? And I submit it to everybody, and then there is no response back from the main person who probably should be the main person to respond. And so that happened, and so I got the chill that, okay, well, maybe I've just touched on something sensitive. But then I had asked, what is the plan for Jefferson Plan? Because I was told we have a plan, like, let us do it. And then I asked, what is that? And I was ignored. So I thought, okay, I'm going to just continue trying to win over trust and go to the meetings and try to, show myself as someone who's, got skills, and I'm willing to, I've got ideas and I'm willing to, do the work. But then, it just, to me, appeared as if there was maybe a conflict of interest that I might have touched on, or possible, oversight that I was, I was somehow threatening to somebody by saying that I'm going to do an inventory, and that might show up as, like I'm judging people. I've had that conversation with, other committee members, and and we worked it out. And Michael, there's an echo.
Okay.
We're having an echo, you need to train.
And we talked it out, and I thought it brought us closer. But there hasn't been that, like, oh wait, hey, let's, like this is what the plan is. Like, I see that you're being eager about it, but this is A, B, C, and D. Instead, it was more like, oh, you are not we. And it threw me off when she said, you are not we. And I was like, oh, sorry. I was
And we, that wasn't Laura who said it. No.
Yeah, I mean, it was so jarring for me to say, hey, I was all excited about, I just had this, I went to Coffee with a Cop. I saw Allie, CD10. She told me, oh, I'm hearing from the grapevine that there's all these dead trees. And I'm telling her, oh, yeah, we've been trying to get attention for all the, the dying trees and the lack of water. And as I was reporting that, I said, we are all concerned about the trees. And I got a snap back of, you are not we. Do not consider yourself UNNC. You are not. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry about that. And then it just continued. And so that is why I had to, draft a formal response, because I didn't want to go into the details of it, but unfortunately, it was going to come out. But I was like, I'm trying to be as understanding of the fact that people have spent their lives on these issues, and they're very passionate, and I don't want to stop them, and as well, I don't want to be the person that comes in like, oh, I'm doing an inventory. Oh, I'm going to be, critiquing it. I don't want to be that person that people feels like, they're going to get graded, or so I might turn up some, oh, by the way, there are these, problems, more problems. I'm hoping that my voice would add and contribute to the work that we are all doing. But people get sensitive, and I don't know how else, I feel like we're all adults, and I'm trying to be an adult about it, but feelings get hurt, and I don't want it to fester. And so I thought doing it in a very, professional way as much as possible can maybe acknowledge that, it's a very sensitive thing to, have, your life work, or your neighborhood, or your passion be, I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping that people would see that, that we're all doing this. We're all trying to better our neighborhoods, and we can help each other out. But, it's, I'm trying to work on my approach as well to see, what am I doing that is making people feel that, it's.
But this is Laura speaking, and then for those who are new to our thing, our AI transcript does not know who's speaking here in the room. They know if you're speaking on the Zoom, but here in the room, it just says UNNC president. So this is Laura speaking. I sometimes the issue is just the personas of individuals, as opposed to it being a UNNC policy. So again, one of the things I've tried to do, for good or bad, and successfully and not successfully, is try to match people to their passions, and their projects as best I can. And there's an I word there that shouldn't be there. I mean, it shouldn't be an I at all. It always should be a we with a neighborhood council or any organization. So it's possible that I matched an individual just too strongly with the passion. I'm talking around it right now, but we've had previous issues with other conflicts with board members. Also, we're about staying in your way, quote, staying in your way. So we have some work to do, but I would say You know what I'd really say is like, you have a huge skill set. You're clearly passionate about the multitude of things. The fact that you're, and these guys might not know, creating some sort of GIS. I mean, you're creating, you know, where's there's crime, where's this, where's that. It's like, oh my God, we really need that. So I want to say, just please keep doing what you're doing. But
Look at the next topic.
yeah, and look at the next topic.
Yes, the next
But-
topic might.
Something else might be coming up that's of interest to us.
Not before.
Right, but the point is, I do think that if somebody is working on an existing project, that we need to figure out a way to open the arms to collaborate, but not have competing
Yeah.
projects that overlap. So there,
I
it kind of is both, but it may not even be feasible. But I want to say, I heard you.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
appreciate you making your official statement, Sunmin. I obviously don't know all the details, but it sounds unacceptable and not what United Neighborhoods or any neighborhood council is about. And we all appreciate your continued efforts to show up and make a difference in your way.
Probably have to go back to how do we handle disruption.
So then I think for the online disruptions, I think just if we by policy have everyone muted, and then they have to raise their hand and get acknowledged, and then it's very easy to enforce the people can't unmute themselves.
I liked the waiting room thing. That seemed to work pretty well. It
Yeah.
could be like elementary school recess timeout, like it's
Discipline.
Yeah.
I want
I
to
do
ask
think
the
the
city
letter-
if that's possible.
I think the letter is taking it a step too far though, especially since it's been a one-time thing so far. I just think that's gonna escalate further.
So how do we inform?
And if he shows up again,
I think we just remind people of the policy at the top of the meeting, have
Yeah.
everyone muted, and then
No, but how do we inform? I mean, do we take 2 minutes at the beginning of every
Yes.
meeting that says to anyone? And again, I am gonna check with the city attorney, to anyone, here's our procedure and protocol, you stay muted.
when you
Well,
waste your time.
So I haven't gotten there yet. Yeah, you are to be muted, you're to stay muted, because I've also noticed that people who are savvy know how to get around some things. If you start speaking without being called on, whoever you are, you will get a warning, and if you do it twice, we'll have to put you in the waiting room.
well, I can disable it.
Well, no, I understand. Well, we have,
Chris, what were you looking up? You said you.
Yeah.
well, no, I do want to continue what I'm saying though. There are times we want all of our board members to be able to quickly unmute themselves, because we're doing roll and we don't want they have to unmute them one by one either. So that, I mean, we have 2 hours to do a board meeting, so.
I mean, we could have it where board members, elected board members are unmuted, guests are muted, and then, manage it that way.
Is there a way to do that in the meeting format? I know it's easy to do that in the webinar format because you can declare people attendees or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think you
But I don't-
should unmute the board members at the top. I mean, it's annoying, but
Oh, actually like 4, 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true. There's not a lot of people. Yeah, that's true. It's the rest of us are in the room.
no, in person, who knows what happens at that point.
Oh, well, we can't make them go to the other room. I mean, we could, but they won't. Yeah, we don't have.
Cross that bridge.
We don't, I hope we never need to have an officer present. That's a whole different thing.
Colette? You are muted if you're trying to speak. You are still muted but have permission to speak.
Colette.
We could ask them to unmute.
You should be able to.
I don't
We can't
think you
unmute.
can unmute them.
That was.
Okay, that was, yes, thank you.
Sorry about that.
I was trying to, where it's so apropos, I raised my hand and then I tapped unmute because I had the air conditioning on, so I was turning it off. And then it said that I could not unmute unless the host, anyway. And then it popped up and you said the host has allowed you to unmute. So and the way that it just applied to me, that is the way it's done in the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council. And there's been no like delay in the meetings, etc. When roll call is done for board members, the secretary unmutes everyone. And then when the participants or stakeholders or, people attending, even the officials, when it's time for them to speak, again, the secretary unmutes. So I don't think that would be a problem at all. That's the way other NCs that I have attended. I was a member of Greater Wilshire. Well, I still am. But I also attended, the neighborhood council that's in Mid-City. I think, yeah, Mid-City Neighborhood Council. They meet at the Catch One. I've attended theirs online as well, and they unmute you.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
Great.
yeah, I think that's OPNC, Olympic Park. At the
Yes,
Catch.
yes, exactly. Olympic Park, yes.
Yeah, they actually have a very odd, this is Laura speaking, very odd hybrid because they're all in person and then they have a computer just like this sitting in the middle of the table like a piece of royalty. But they don't have the big screen.
Oh,
So I'm not sure what the people attending on Zoom see. But anyway, that's a different story.
Okay, so that's just my 2 cents. So mine is coming from the Greater Wilshire, where I was board member for 8 or 9 years, and then when COVID hit, and then that's how we did it. And also,
Right.
I was also outreach chair, and I had everyone muted in my committee meetings until it was time for them to speak. Okay,
All right.
thank you. That's my 2 cents.
Perfect. Thank you for weighing in.
Thank you.
It's worth far more to us.
For councils do, because I'm sure we're not the only
Well,
ones who had.
Yeah, many neighborhood councils, if not the vast majority, use a webinar format rather than a meeting format. Because so what happened back with COVID is that a handful of us, just presidents, we started a Facebook presence. And a handful of us just bought Zoom and started conducting our meetings, emulating the planning department, which started back in April of the COVID year, 2020. And then Dunn decided to start teaching us how to do webinars. They created the whole protocol and this and that. And UNNC voted, nah, we're not going to do it that way because we liked the participation. So we liked the participation. We just ended up for the first time of the last board meeting being so disrupted that we didn't, it just was not good.
Yeah.
Quite a few board members have talked to me about it afterwards, and several said they were frightened. I mean, it got frightening. And making it just even a little more personal, it was my birthday, and someone had brought me a birthday gift and decided not to give it to me on the Zoom call because they didn't want that person to know anything personal. I'm an open book, so I don't care. Everybody can know everything personal about me, but they were afraid. This individual for me. But anyway, okay, we went from a short meeting to a long meeting. I love this weekend short meeting. So we'll experiment with protocols, but I'll still try and talk to the city attorney and because I still am curious. In the end, can we kick someone out of it?
You can, according.
Although
But-
technically you can, although if they're muted.
Not- But will the city of Los Angeles?
So I looked all these. up.
Okay.
What is legally allowed within the bounds. So essentially it just says, make sure you reiterate the code of conduct at the beginning of each minute, each meeting to make sure people know these rules. The other big thing, which we kind of need to do anyway, enforce the speaking limit. So if we need parliamentary.
Me too.
But if it's 1 minute, it's 1 minute. And the thing is to enforce that fairly. So no one can go over or, if they're under the.
It would be so
So-
great
like enforcing that, so enforce the limits fairly, so no one can say, well, you let them talk without me talking. And so that's a way to start, and then it says, it gives you a bunch of steps here. And there is also a relevance requirement, so if someone is talking, say we're talking about, just say trees, right? And someone is like, I don't know, the cars are messed up, you are within your right to say, that's not on topic, get back on topic, or we're gonna mute you, or whatever the case may be. That's allowed, looked it up here.
No, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, the gentleman, if one could call him that, who goes to all the city council and commission meetings. He self-identifies his name as Hand Puppet. So I don't know his name.
Mhm.
I mean, I could probably find out his name, but he's very good at that. He'll say, I'm speaking on item 46 and 37, and he'll manage to reference it while then
Completely.
talking about
Yeah.
other things.
But it says you can require that they stay focused, exactly. And so here's how you de-escalate it. Give them a warning, which we did. Call a recess to the entire meeting or the timeout, like we did here. You can say, all right, no more times, do it again and you're removed. So I feel like this is probably for in person. If you have law enforcement present, with most of the time we don't, never needed to, but you can direct the law enforcement person to remove them.
Correct.
And then if it's a riotous disruption, hopefully it'll never do that. You are within your rights to clear the room
Yes.
and clear the folks out to get everyone to safety, if it escalates. And then again, what you can do is make sure they stay on topic, remove the disruption after you've given them a warning, create the same, just make sure the rules are clear at the beginning so that it's fair to everybody. And that's within our range.
I didn't print out the first page of our agenda. I think we have a paragraph on page 1 about the code of. This is page 2. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Actually, let's take a peeky weeky. I can show you. I have the whole agenda. If we.
Oh, it does say comments on the public.
Maybe not.
Maybe we can summarize it into some bullets.
Oh, no, here we go. It does say that. Notice to the public. The City of Los Angeles Code of Conduct will be enforced to ensure that UNNC meetings are collaborative, supportive, and respectful of divergent opinions.
Do we need to bullet point what that is?
We need to actually expand it because it's not the City of Los Angeles Code of Conduct, it's the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment Code of Conduct. And I think if I change it to that and put a link to the Code of Conduct right there, that would help. At least help us have justification for moving on from there, because there is a link on the DUN website, Department of Neighborhood Empowerment website, with the printed code of conduct. Or we put the code of conduct in on our own website and have a link to it there, whichever makes more sense. But so we can change the agenda for them. And when you're looking up the code of conduct, yeah, I mean, it may or may not cover interruptions. It certainly would cover what Sun Min was talking about.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
Okay.
I mean, the incident that Sun Min was talking about, the code of conduct does cover.
So I guess my thoughts on this are when we talk about this at the September meeting, we probably need to have a list of specific stuff. Do y'all like the list that came with the?
Well, I
warned like
yeah.
concept and step 1 warning and step 2.
Sort of, but I want to
Vengeance.
read our bylaws and read the code of conduct and make sure we're conforming to that.
Although, again, if making someone from the meeting is problematic for whatever reason, once they're muted, in some ways it doesn't.
Yeah, gotcha. All right.
Okay, all right, so Oh, we spent almost an hour.
That's
Of
I
our-
would like to talk about.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I was just hoping to get a pat on the back for finally doing an agenda that let us get out of here.
We can move
So
quickly.
so moving on, now that we've sold our motley crew, who would like to join us?
Yeah.
Well,
And remember, if you're online and wish to speak, please raise your hand so I can unmute you, because otherwise I don't get notified.
right, well, I'm raising my hand here. Laura speaking, so we've had another resignation. Soki resigned after the meeting,
Oh,
that, that pretty much next day.
Did he give? Is it?
I-
Safety issue or?
I
hassle?
I need to say, share after.
Okay.
It's not something I can share in public. But that means we're back down to, I think, 18 actual board members. And then at the same time, we have, if you recall, we're jumping around a little bit, we have set for our September board meeting,
The extension.
and a vote on the extension, and we certainly have one board member who we haven't seen in a couple of months. That I'm not sure we should be offering an extension. Tom.
oh.
And because she expired technically in August, because she was like the first one we appointed. So I'm not sure. I mean, we have to talk to her. It's like, if we extend you, are you going to come in person to meetings? Are you going to participate in community events? Because you've participated in zero of the events, and we've seen you only once in person here. So. I mean, there's other people with some issues, but the appointees are you counting up the totals?
Yeah, just like.
Well, we're gonna add the chair and show this. So we have technically 1, 2, 3. We only have 3, but I think and then I think 5. Yeah. And at least 4, but that's, the problem is that the quorum doesn't change. We still have to have 13 for quorum. So I think we're gonna need to, for the next executive committee and then October board meeting. Consider, I mean, we need to send out, do you want to join the board? Interview candidates at the September executive committee meeting. And if there's anybody who has raised their hand, they want to be on the board, consider appointing them at the October board meeting.
And then just for quorum concerns, you're out the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Because you have especially.
Yeah, excuse the absent.
I think it is, but that's the problem. I mean, in other words, maintaining quorum with this many vacancies becomes difficult.
I could foresee people saying this is an election, but I also.
No, it's not really.
I can also understand the.
No, we appoint till June 30th. June 30th.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, and anything that's vacant now, we could just tell the city clerk it's gonna be up for election.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, I'm not at all, but that's not a problem. But I will move on, that the problem with this scenario of extending everybody till June 30th. Is at least one of those people didn't pay attention and thought Robbie thought she was appointed to fill the whole till
The whole time.
2029.
Okay.
And I don't actually have a problem checking in with the elections clerk to find out what is the deadline for when we declare how many of the seats are up for election, and re-reviewing it, extend everybody till June 30th, just to get that done. Because otherwise we're gonna try and have to remember who needs to be voted on when. Because I think Josh is up in September, Tamala will be up for September. Josh Pierce will be up in September. It's just too complicated. But then we need to see who was technically appointed to the seats that wouldn't expire till 2029. That may only be Robbie, and should we extend her just into her seat, or does she have to run? That's a separate issue, and I don't think we have to talk about that. You know, I mean, we have some time before they need to create our ballot.
Mhm.
So, so that's a scenario I propose. Interview candidates at the September executive committee meeting
For a vote in October
to vote at the October board.
to finish and switch.
And whoever we appoint, yeah, we're already gonna, unless people vote no, we were planning to extend all of the appointment seats till June 30th already.
And
At the September,
Yeah.
and then anybody we appoint between now and June 30th expire on June 30th.
That makes
So-
sense.
So with
Sounds good to me.
Potentially one exception or two, the people who really want to make a case that we should extend them to. 25. All right,
So that's, so that's a plug for our guest here.
we've been asking,
Yes,
we've been
it-
asking our,
If you would like to be appointed to a seat, feel free.
to let us know.
You're already going to the meetings anyways, might well.
Yeah.
You're halfway.
Might as well get involved.
And the training, even though we complain about it all the time, isn't that bad, honestly. Okay.
Let's go, I can click back.
Yes.
Did that work? Yes, great. Oh, Son is asking me to speak. There you go. I can actually mute you. Is that true?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, I thank you very much, and I'm very excited about being part of the organization. But as a stakeholder, I feel like I want to fully experience being the stakeholder, and to be neutral that way. So, but if you need someone to break quorum or something like that, an emergency, but I will think about it, because otherwise, I'm always thinking about just going to Tahiti and living there.
That's also a great one.
I'm thinking about that right now. Being a board member does not prohibit you from fantasizing about vacation. I was.
Where's your family from?
But mine is European, but my wife's parents are from Argentina.
So nothing tropical. All right, we need to,
All right, next, Jasmine of the Stars in the Avenue.
yes, so Labor Day weekend is Friday, September 4th, Saturday, September 5th, and Sunday, September 6th. 3 days on 7th Avenue, music under the stars and food vendors. Hunter, you're out.
I'm not in town that week.
Well, that's 2 years in a row.
I was last year. Did I not?
You
No.
did not. You helped the year
I
before.
was in Mississippi last year. Yeah,
If you
you're
were
right.
at another wedding,
Yeah,
different wedding.
yeah.
Son, if you're raised, I'm gonna lower your hand because I think you didn't, but if you need
She
to
did
speak,
raise her hand.
please, oh,
Just wait a second.
There you
So what we need to plan for are 6 slots. So each evening, each time is from 5 to 9. So typically we do 5 to 7, 7 to 9.
Laura, didn't I just read yesterday that it's canceled?
Yeah.
no, that from Jazz Festival.
That's a different.
Yeah.
Oh, I was sad.
Jazz in the streets.
Well, that.
Jazz. Yeah,
And it is confusing.
it is not, but it's confusing.
Be at the beach and.
Yeah, no, ours is, our local one is going strongish. People are stepping up and, insurance has gotten, the performers have been. Apparently the list is complete. So anyway, what happens is that we set up. There's a little more setup required on the Friday because it's the first day, so we have to figure out what we're doing. We set up our tent, which stays up. We set up the solar lights, which stay up through the third day. But then we have all of our stuff, which has to come and go to. Last year we used Gavin's front porch. We can do that again. But where we fell apart was not in staffing. We fell apart at the end. Because suddenly Michael's standing there, he's saying, oh, I can take stuff home, but I can't take it all home, I have a small car, right?
Yeah.
So what we didn't have was a great plan.
Bring my wife.
Yeah, but that's not the point. We did not have an actual plan for our wrap, for taking everything apart, and it ended up that our tent stayed on Gavin's porch for 2 months.
Yeah,
So that's a very bad piece of the plan. So I don't know if Sandra is planning, she's got some housing issues of her own right now. So I don't know if she's got the capacity or the plans to send out a sign up for this bridge. So I don't know, Candace, do you know how to do that? Would you be able?
No, but if
No.
one were
If-
to share a,
Or you know?
I can easily do it.
Yeah, I think. we
like
need
if
to
one
do
were
that.
to share a template, I just checked something else I'm supposed to do. And turns out it's the weekend before. So
Okay. Well, here's the thing, I'm there all 3 days, all the time, but I'm next door. I mean, we had our booths side by side. So I'm at the West Adams Heritage booth, but I'm standing right there. But I can't be considered part of a shift.
yeah.
You know, I'm certainly overseeing it, but the other thing, I'm physically not able to be carrying the stuff in or carrying the stuff out.
It kind of feels like you just work one shift the whole time. Is that how that's how?
Well, what happened is last time is people signed up for one and then they came back repeatedly. So like Elizabeth did 3 shifts.
I feel like
Michael
I was
Kimbrough
there
did
for
3
that.
shifts.
I was-
Siobhan did 2 shifts. So, I mean, that's all good, but I think we need to pre-plan at least 2 people on each shift.
Yeah.
And who's bringing out, I mean, it's a lot of stuff that has to arrive. We need, you know, we need tent, we need stuff from here, because right now we're spread all over the place. I believe they're gonna provide us a table. But we do need our lights, and they need to have been charged.
I think they're solar.
They're solar, but they need to have been out, like,
Outside.
out in the sun the day before. They need to have been pre-charged. Because that worked out really, really well. People could actually see our stuff after dark, right? So lights were good. So, and then the other thing is I am ordering the orange bags, but I am absolutely not going to pre-stuff, or nor do I think we should pre-stuff any bag whatsoever. The way we had done this in the past is we do have quite a number of handouts that are specific to committees. And, well, no, we basically said for the committee handouts, if Corinne or Grace are there, they can have their handout. And then we put it back away because no one else is familiar with what their handout is about. So Elizabeth kept coming back to staff it because she wanted the environmental committee stuff out. Because she was there, she could talk about reducing use of plastic or using native plants. And that's the way it works so much better. So we could give them a bag and they can stuff it themselves, but we're not, the broad royal we are not necessarily all of us capable of talking about all topics.
That's true.
So I'm gonna cause to be printed without charging money, because we'll work it out in the next few weeks, reprints of the committee flyers. And work out with Sandra, who's not very eager to have us reprint the Spanish and English 2-sided. That one has to go to the printer. We did approve the monies. She's not eager to use that flyer, and Siobhan had volunteered to update that flyer.
Okay.
And which is fine, you know, which is a good idea, but it's not the content that Sandra was objecting to. She's objecting to the paper.
Oh, like the actual layout or.
I think she wants us to put more tchotchkes in the brochures and less of the flyers in the orange bags, but I don't even want to pre-stuff the bags at all, because we're gonna run out of bags the second time. There's thousands of people at this event.
Yeah.
And we don't have much in the way of promotional material, so tchotchkes, promotional.
I mean, we
materials.
could, so we're supposed to get whatever our rollover is.
Yeah, well, it's too late, but
Register.
should like to vote on
I said
promotional.
something.
She
It
has,
would be after the fact anyway.
well, we have money, but we didn't allocate any money to purchase promotional items because we have no pre-invoices, we have no,
The estimate of how much.
well, we don't even know. I mean, like we don't know what she has in mind for promotional items. So our board meeting is on September 3rd, which
Yeah,
is
that's too
the day before. We cannot order promotional items the day before. So we won't have promotional items at this event. We should, however, have Department of Neighborhood Empowerment items. I did speak to Daniel about that. I'm gonna remind him that we want they would need to bring us physical paper for.
Do they? Like little.
They do, so we can get some things from them. And then Elizabeth has started preparing a notebook that had other neighborhood council maps. So when someone
Yeah,
comes to us
people
and they're
can
not in
ask.
our boundaries, we can show them where, at least for South LA. So anyway, so Michael, you can send out a
Yes, we'll do.
request grid.
And we'll do the shifts of 5 to 7, 7 to 9,
Correct.
and then extra setup on
Friday
and Sunday.
and wrap on Sunday.
And don't bring the tiny car.
Well-
That's a mental note to me.
Yeah, but that wasn't the whole issue, because even if you bring a regular car, it's hard to carry a tent out.
Yeah.
Because we can't drive in.
I had physical labor. And so
You had to-
I'll bring my kid again.
Right.
But the cars had to be out on the
Yeah,
setup day.
right.
It's gotta get out of. the-
Well, it's not just that, it's on the wrap on Sunday
yeah.
night, that there's no way, you cannot bring a car into the event on Sunday. Because it goes till midnight or 1, we're done at 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True, yeah.
so real wrap for the tent and stuff is really Monday morning. I
When I did the flower tent, but my folks don't mind being out there late. We were there till like 11. It was
Right, yeah, I'm not gonna require UNNC people to be there till 11:30 if they wanna be, but that should not be on the grid.
like- Yeah, gotcha.
Cause by then people, been out, okay.
Anything else on that one?
Mm.
No? All right, so next is the executive committee business. Treasurer's report.
I will be very quick. We have $23,624.26 left. Up until this point, we've spent about $1,400, and that's just on our general like office administrative stuff, and then on our outreach for.
Yeah, we spent less than expected.
Yeah, on our outreach for the movies in the park. And they're being weird about the bar. Disregard those,
Well,
because I updated it. And
that was so strange.
and I went in and I'm like, oh, okay, so I updated the MERS. So our MERS have flags on them, but they should not. I saw your email.
Well, cause I looked at this is Lori speaking, I looked at the BAC you
Uh-huh.
uploaded.
Yeah.
And it had the right date, and they sent an email saying it had the wrong date, and it's like, what are you talking about?
I mean, so if they would like, I will re-upload the same
it
one
should
and
be
see if
on
it's
that.
just different. We get a different result. So don't freak out about our flag. We're on it. And that's all I have. No MP. Not like,
Yeah.
no MPG requests to this point. Oh, and then like as a side note, the Sister Sanctuary, maybe this is announcements, my bad. The Sister Sanctuary that we gave an MPG to last fiscal year, the actual event is in September.
Right.
So I'll talk about it at the general.
Right, so how does the public know about that?
She emailed me, you're
I mean, is there any-
invited, August 9th. Early bird tickets. Okay. Reading. Okay, Saturday, September 19th from 10 to 5 at the Peace and Awareness Garden. There's a link to buy tickets, but there is a flyer. That's the, so I can send it to, sorry, no, hold on, that's the.
Because it's
That's
won't
the
be
flyer,
risky.
yeah, but what I'll do is I will send it to Laura,
Yeah,
okay, and then we could share it and I'll bring it up. Oh, we're on the flyer, yay.
well, that's good.
Yeah, so sponsors, supporters, Heather Hutt, UNNC, First 5 LA, and somebody who I cannot read.
How much are tickets?
Let's see.
Affordable.
Oh, there's a whole web page. Get your tickets now. There's a agenda. Click to the ticket. Oh.
Don't you hate that? Get all excited and then it's $10,000 and you can't go. I got an invitation like that today. I mean, literally, I got an invitation to a $10,000.
Okay, so early bird tickets are $55. And general admission tickets after that are 75, so they must be trying to make up the difference, I can tell. Then the VIP tickets are $100. And that provides priority seating, donor listing, and a special.
Okay, I have received, this is Laura speaking, 2 of the completion reports.
I feel like I saw it.
I received one for the Korea, Mexico watch party. And I received one for the Garden Rangers at the Carson School. Have I looked at them? I have not. What are we supposed to do with them?
I'll look it up. Enrich LA completion report.
Yeah.
I got it too. Let's look at it.
But are we supposed to submit that to the clerk
I'll read it.
or to the board? Or both?
I mean, I think
I think
it
it
would
should
be
be
good
put
to
on the
share
board.
because Enrich LA's is pretty good. Like they have pictures and that kind of stuff with what they actually did in the garden. Nice. So this
Is
would
it
be
so
nice.
good that they should be invited to come present it?
I don't see why we couldn't do that. Give them
Alright.
like 2 minutes or something.
Okay. All right, so.
That's it. That's my report.
Okay, I think I've been interspersing my report throughout this meeting. So maybe I've forgotten something. Well, the one big thing, which is not really a president's report, but will be, is that tomorrow night we have could be a big meeting at Planning and Zoning on the Murphy oil drill site revocation case. And
That's gonna be here.
yes. But here's the time. So there was a public hearing on July 23rd. Before the zoning administrator. Almost all of the materials were withheld from everybody until the Monday before that Thursday. So they all, a lot of material got put into the public agenda packet on the Monday. The oil company that operates the place, of course, is not very pleased to have to read 700 pages between Monday and the hearing on Thursday. And quickly got a lawyer letter done, but said it wasn't enough time. So there was a hearing, it went on till after 2, started at 9 in the morning. Went on until after 2, it was very long. 9 a.m. till after 2 p.m. That's correct. Maybe 3. 2:30, I think, for testimony, and then still went on because then the zoning administrator set forth a time. So he gave the oil company until next week, 1 month, to actually respond to everything that they heard that day, set of questions from the zoning administrator, and in fact, more robust response to the 700-some page thing that they had not been given in advance. And then the public, which includes the neighborhood council, has 1 more month. So our deadline is September 23rd or thereabouts to respond. So that's not good timing for us. So we're having our big meeting tomorrow night, UNNC, at Planning and Zoning with the, about 9 of the most relevant documents, are in our agenda packet, and we're going to need to try and come up with some sort of consensus, which will be very, very difficult letter of, what are we writing to the zoning administrator? It's going to be difficult because we've got people who want it immediately revoked, and we've got other people who don't. And when you read the paperwork, there seems to be some issues with the material that was presented in favor of the revocation. There's 2 competing health and science kind of reports. So I already know, I've talked to Steve and Chris about this. They are the co-chairs of our oil drilling subcommittee. That for sure, no matter what else, we need to have a paragraph that says, you know, there are two competing health and scientific health reports. We are not scientists.
Yeah.
We're not health specialists. Dear Mr. Zoning Administrator, neither are you. You should hire an independent third party health expert to review both those reports and give you advice. That our advice to you is that's what you need to do, because just like us, you're not an expert. And so that's one thing that's easy to do. That's probably the only easy thing to do, along with the one thing we've already voted on, which is a recommendation that if they're going to add conditions, that they add the condition that any third party oil vendor, anybody who's going into that site to do any work at all must follow all of the conditions. Because one of the big issues this last year was that somebody who was cleaning, I would say a duct, a pipeline, the entity that cleans the pipelines didn't follow any of the regs. And what the oil drilling people said is, we don't have control over them. And some of us might feel that, well, you didn't have to unlock the gate, but that said, it's a good condition to add. The zoning administrator will have the right to do a number of different things. One would be to simply say, no, everything's fine. I'm not going to add any conditions. It can just keep operating under these 47 other conditions that have already been there. Seems unlikely though. Two, the zoning administrator could say, I'm not going to revoke this. I'm not going to declare you a public use nuisance, but I am going to add more conditions. Three, he can declare them a public nuisance and add more conditions, with the final condition being we're going to get back together in a year and a half or whatever and see if those conditions now work to make you not a nuisance. And the fourth one is he can revoke it, revoke the CUP. And even with that, they can revoke it and it's effective immediately, or they can revoke it and put it on hold for a year or two, again, to see if all these other conditions will work. So it's very complicated. I don't know what UNNC is going to want. My personal biggest concern is simply that if it's an outright revocation, then the oil drilling company will not build the wall and we'll never get a wall because they'll use the same money to go to court instead. Right now they're in the process of getting the final permits to then erect a very high. So why would you spend the money if you've been revoked? But that's my personal, I have no idea what the committee is going to do. We're going to talk about it tomorrow night at length. We're going to come back on September 2nd, which is another planning and zoning committee, with hopefully a draft of something that we can approve to take to the board on September 3rd. That draft might be a long-ish introduction and then bullet points, because I don't know how we're going to get and then approve that and go to executive to approve a final letter based on the intro and the bullet points and get it in by the 23rd or 24th, whatever it is, of September. And in the meantime, I'm going to ask the council office to see if they could get further extension till after the October board meeting, which seems a more reasonable amount of time for us.
Are the representatives that were there the last time the ones that were in big opposition? You gave all the emails, so they.
Oh yeah, that was the 9 to 2:30
At the board, at the larger board.
at the I would say at the larger meeting, the first 40 minutes of public testimony were people much more neutral on the topic of revocation, meaning they need to behave themselves, but maybe revocation is too much. And then every other person after that was, let's revoke, let's revoke, let's revoke. Very passionate. A lot of our stakeholders would like the oil field to go away yesterday.
Sure.
I'm sure. And bluntly, I don't know what they were thinking in 1960 or 61 to approve all these oil fields in primarily neighborhoods where people of color live, but not 100%, because there's also one on, you know, in Beverly Hills and another one in Rancho Park, so it's not 100% where people of color live, but it was just always a stupid idea to do oil drilling next to houses. But that's easily said with 2020 hindsight. And at the time, what they were trying to do is stop the proliferation of people just sinking drills in their backyards. And they were trying to create oil drilling districts. So, and approved sites, so, you know, anyway, that's what we get to look forward to. Michael,
So I'm just angry I lost my mineral rights.
did you just lose them?
No,
Or
no.
you were about to lose them? Well, no, that's an issue.
They were not on the title.
Oh, but I was gonna say, we've got stakeholders who have mineral rights and they don't wanna lose their, what now might be $120 a year, but at some point for $700 a year.
Okay, for me, the training, so I don't have insight into the funding training, because that is,
Oh, they updated it, look,
that's not new though, is it?
yeah, look.
Yeah, I took mine, yeah, but I'm not updated, so,
No, you. 20,
it's an annual thing?
no, what they're doing. I'm gonna use the bad foul language word that I'm thinking, they decided we all have to take it now. And then we all have to take it again by June 30th, 2027, such that we now will all be aligned with election cycle. And from then on, it's every 2 years.
Okay.
So they did finally, it looks like, update the site. Did they get me? No, look at that. And yet I took it. Yet I have confirmation.
Funding training.
But you got it.
Great. Look at that. All right, so then I'll synthesize this. I think in terms of actual board members, Joshua Pierce is now out of compliance on the ethics. Chris has
He's
been
in
out of
compliance.
and someone else was in danger. Oh, Michael Kimbrough is next. No, too much.
On ethics.
Yeah. So I will email.
How long is the funding training?
Okay, so the new funding
Oh,
training,
wow.
I will
Right.
tell you, is 6 YouTube videos.
Okay.
Each one is from 10 to 12 minutes.
Okay.
They're standalone. You can watch them, you should watch them in order,
Okay.
but they're not timed. You can watch them 2 times, you can watch them 3 times. Then there's a separate link
For the.
for the test.
Okay.
It's 30 questions. It's a Google form. And while you're doing it on one browser, you can go back and check in on your YouTube like an open book if you don't know an answer. So it's not hard. But
So.
it's an hour, but it's an hour. Well, no, it's more than an hour. It's an hour worth of video. And then a test,
It's like I'm
I think.
trying to see when I'm sleeping.
But I did the videos over 3 days.
It took me
You
45 minutes.
Cause what did you do? You know how to make your videos.
I watched them on
fast.
1.5 speed.
There's the answer. Thank you.
So I watched them on regular speed.
Gotcha. Okay, I just wanted to, I didn't want to start it and then the time is good.
10 minutes at a shot.
That is it for me. Anything else on item 6? No, so item 7, approve agenda items for the 26th governing board meeting.
Yeah, so we're gonna have that oil drilling thing unless we have a longer deadline. We're gonna have extend the terms
Mhm.
for our thing. We will not have any funding items. In particular, since I have no guarantee that we have anybody who can vote on any funding. And that might mean our MER is gonna be late. We're not, in other words, we won't have the August MER anyway, because it's the 3rd of September. So we've got nothing. no funding items of any sort.
Light BAC, love it.
And no MER because it won't be issued. And
Oh,
yeah, it won't be issued till the 5th of September, right?
yes.
Right, but it's still due October 15th.
I mean, I could give an overview of what we've done up to now. That means I won't talk on, so that's great.
Yeah, we just don't have. I mean, I'm afraid that very few people, it's very few of our board members have taken that funding tree.
Okay.
But I have, and I see that I'm still not marked, and that's just.
That's doesn't go into, there's no quorum for that though. It's like only one person took it.
I think I've taken ethics. I don't think we have 4 people vote on Sunday.
I'm just saying, by the
We
rules,
could.
and then for an MER, I mean, that's not controversial.
Yes, but we won't have one anyway.
Great.
But yeah, so it worked out. Cause we won't have any financials.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I just felt that, I mean, nobody really approached us for funding items, but I just don't think 4 people, 5 people can prove expenditures.
Okay.
We got raised on our storage fees, but the city council has approved the lease for CD10 to move into Crenshaw.
Do they have an estimated amount?
I don't know, Teresa's been tracking it on council file.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to anybody talking to anybody about it.
I mean, do you just want me to email Ellie or something and just say, hey?
Well, it'd be-
Yeah, that's the moving date.
What's the move?
We said last, didn't know,
Yeah, we asked,
Okay.
the last time they didn't know yet.
but now they have a lease. So that's
Well,
good.
they have the city council approval to sign a lease, I don't know if they have. It's
Gotcha. Okay.
with an amount of money that's a lot of money, it's very expensive. Is there anything else that you guys can want on the governing board agenda?
Question. So to the procedures, we're just enacting them, or are we having a conversation?
We're allowed to, we're
I mean,
the board.
in
I mean,
terms of-
officers.
I don't think there's anything that's outside of the like official policy though.
Correct.
Like, I think that was more or less enforcing something that's already on the books.
Okay.
Right, so I mean, and honestly, because Hunter won't be there, we'll still have to find one more person. I think we need to have 3 co-hosts, I mean, host and 2 co-hosts.
You mean for the Zoom?
Yeah, for the Zoom, because it really, I mean, one of the struggles at that meeting was that
You're facilitating.
right, and dealing with the stress and distress of what he was saying, because some of what was being said was also false.
We'll be light on the MER, so I should be fine for that.
Right.
Oh, I was gonna say, who else is
Well, we need a
taking
timekeeper.
I was gonna say, can we talk about?
We just need someone who's willing to do it, but because the other problem is we have a couple of board members who, as you guys know, always want to say something after we've already said we're done. And they want to be the last person to say something. And then that something isn't necessarily organized
Can we volunteer somebody?
to be the timekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
You think it should be one of the people who always talks up after
You
they
can certainly
shouldn't?
try.
Exactly.
No, if one of the people who is always a violator is the person who has to keep time, that would kind of keep their attention on.
That's
the
what you
time.
do with the students.
Is that how you do
Yes,
it?
that's exactly right. You make them your best monitor. You put them in charge of the stuff. And literally, that's how you get. Well, I'll give y'all the teacher game later, but I'm only thinking that because I also know, like, whenever we put out a volunteer call, it's usually crickets, but it's something that is very much needed, especially after.
And we get to rotate and cast and then
Yes,
we find
that's
the one
true.
that works, just start rotating.
Yeah, I mean, I can take it when I'm back, I don't mind doing that. But in the meantime, it's 2 months.
Yeah.
Find the app, but it's actual music.
Full parliamentarian person, they could literally just be the
Timekeeper is fine.
like on your phone. 1 minute, okay, 1 minute, go, right? And then when that alarm goes off, it's there.
Mhm.
Right,
And
and it should be an alarm.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be an actual.
I'm like, low key, I would do it. I don't know if the treasurer could do it, but man, I used to have a timer with my class and all that. Y'all got 5 minutes today. I don't mind, but I also want to give other people a chance to.
Well, I like
participate.
some other people participate.
I don't want to follow other jobs.
But it would require someone have that thing on their phone that we could hear.
Oh, don't you worry. I got it. I even know how to find one online so that if it's not on my phone, it can make the noise through the computer. And there are some really aggressive timers that you can miss.
Right, and the one thing we won't do that I hate at city council or city commission meetings, we're not gonna cut them off. We're gonna say, your time is up.
Mhm.
Can you finish in 10 seconds? That's
Sure, yeah.
because that's so much less rude. Okay. So nothing else that we know of for the agenda, that can change. I mean, I might wanna ask who are they, Enrich LA
Oh, yes. Enrich LA and
and Yona.
yeah.
Well, the other thing is, has Yona mentioned anything? We can't do it, I mean, has you mentioned
Oh, about the
anything?
Korean Fest?
Yeah, she hasn't brought us anything, so I don't know when the Korean festival is, but I think she's missed the deadline
I know.
That's,
Cause they usually do get it
early, July.
hold on.
LA Korean Festival, what's the date?
Get it up.
But we can't vote on it, I mean, we just can't do it for this month.
Oh, wait, schedule for 2026 fest?
October 16th it starts.
Well, that was last year.
Oh, yeah, it says October 20, yeah, it says 2025.
What, is this it? October 1st through 4th, 2026?
Oh, well, then we can't do it, that's too early.
There's. Fine.
So maybe it's coming.
Yeah,
Next
but we
couple
can't give them an MPG after,
It's not October yet.
I understand,
No, it's October this year.
I understand.
Okay.
They would have needed to be here tonight,
Oh, right.
so we can vote on September 3rd.
Right, okay.
To give them an MPG before October, okay, we really have to end this meeting.
Old business, new business, previous agenda items, anyone?
Yeah.
All right, then with item 9, I will adjourn, say to those of you online, thank you for your attendance.